I tried to get those lights in the background pink, but it looks pink for me, but it doesn't look pink on the camera. Just imagine it's pink, because Barbie. This is a film by Greta Gerwig, which is the story of Barbie. A story where real-life versions of these figures exist and live in Barbie land. When Margot Robbie's version of Barbie malfunctions, her and Ryan Gosling's Ken head to the real world, where they discover how much they do not know, how the worlds differ, and how men and women are viewed in these worlds. I did the double bill of Oppenheimer and then Barbie. I had to do it. It's a tradition, you know, it's a big day. And obviously the headline for me was Oppenheimer, but I was also excited for Barbie. And I'm happy to say that I enjoyed this movie. It was fun, it was colourful, and for the most part, a funny film, with a pretty wild plot as well as messages about the real world. This film looks into woman empowerment, how it relates to Barbie dolls, and how they're viewed and treated, as well as how women are viewed and treated. Whilst I get the inclusion of this, as it was, of course, crucial to the plot that was being set up here, I found the best parts of this movie to just sort of be the fun, silly, goofy bits of it. I'm not saying don't include these real world elements, so, you know, I'm not saying don't throw messages into the movie. I get it, I get why they did, why it's necessary. However, I think the balance was a bit off. I think they needed more fun. They needed more goofiness. They just needed a bit more of that, because that was really the strength of this film. I think this film was at its best when it was making people laugh, making people in the audience laugh. A bit more fun wouldn't have gone amiss, and the definition of fun in this movie was Ryan Gosling as Ken. Of course, it's a role that we're not used to seeing him in. You know, he usually seems to do more dramatic, quieter roles, that sort of thing, and it's always worked very, very well for him. But here he is really funny. Margot as Barbie was great. She is sort of made for this role. It seems like easy casting. Who'd you cast as Barbie? I'm pretty sure everyone says Margot. And she filled the shoes of Barbie very well, as did all the other variations of Barbie, as well as all the other variations of Ken. There are several variations of Barbie and Ken, and several actors you'll recognize, which makes this movie fun in terms of the interactions and situations these characters get into. We spend time in the real world and Barbie world, with Barbie ultimately interacting with real world people that help her on her character's journey. And unfortunately, I found a lot of these real world characters just not that interesting. Barbie world, as it sounds, is just way more fun and interesting. I can't say I cared that much for the real world characters and their story and what they were trying to work towards. I just found all the Barbies and Kens in their wild Barbie world just way more interesting. I just wanted to see what they were getting up to. I just wanted to see them interact more, because it was just more fun and light-hearted. It's a strange film with a strange story and a strange conclusion, and I don't dislike how the story and conclusion go, because a film like Barbie, obviously it's difficult, because you've got to sort of just make up a whole plot. You've got to pick a direction that you want to go with this movie. Do you go all out silly? Do you go all out message? Do you try and find something in between, which is what this film did here? They chose their story, which was to go more into how women are viewed and how it needs to change in the real world, and they sort of touch on this by what goes on in Barbie land when the Kens discover things about the real world. It's quite funny what takes place in the Barbie world. So it's a bit of a tricky one, because the real world elements end up setting up funny stuff. But then again, the real world elements weren't that fun as they were. So it's a bit of a tricky balance. It's a tricky story to tell. But honestly, the funnier parts of this movie were better, and I just wanted more of that. As a guy reviewing, I know how this sounds. It sounds like I don't like women empowerment and I don't want to see it in movies. Not true, okay? I'm just saying, whilst I get the necessity of the message and the inclusion of it in the film, I just wanted more fun and goofiness and silliness. And Ryan Gosling as Ken. This is a fun movie though. I had some good laughs. It's pretty lightweight viewing. Half the jokes hit, half the jokes miss. But performances are great, the film looks good, and I would say that it is worth watching. I would give Barbie a 7.5 out of 10. That's where I'm hovering at right now. And on the rewatchability rating, I'd give it a 4. I don't see this being a film I ever rewatch on my own. But sort of thing I probably would rewatch with company. If you've seen Barbie, let me know what you think about it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.